Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of our podcast, the DEI Discussion Lounge. I am your host, rolling solo this time, Kofi Anand. Shareem is out sick today, so I'm gonna try my best to fill in for. Got some big shoes to fill here. But yeah, so today we're going to be having a conversation about the power of the Black dollar, specifically, and its ability to be used as a source for social change. And joining me today is our esteemed guest, Ziv D Morgan of the Metropolitan Business League. And as we are heading into the Christmas season, there's obviously we're going to be doing a lot of spending. It's already November. And so we're going to be doing, as always, we spend a lot of money. But today we're going to talk about how can we make sure we spend that dollar a little more wisely? How can we make sure that we're investing in the Black community and to make sure that we are supporting our own businesses? And what does that really mean? And how, and how can that be done in ways that are mutually beneficial for ourselves and as well as the community? So so I'm really excited today. Zavi, how are you doing today?
I am well, very well. I can't complain, even if I wanted to. Okay, it's a blessing over here in these streets. And thank you both for having me on. Give my love and my prayers are going up for Shireen. But yeah, thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, thank you. It's such an honor. As you know, we've just started to get to know the Metropolitan Business League ourselves and all the wonderful benefits that the organization offers as business owners ourselves. And so I just thought that you would just be such a perfect person to have this conversation with.
Thank
But before we get into it, would you mind giving us a little background about yourself and
you.
a little bit background about the Metropolitan Business League?
Yes, absolutely. So I am Ziv D Morgan. I am a holistic life and business advisor as well as the leader of a growing conglomerate called Business Now. I am also the small business coordinator for the Metropolitan Business League. And I also sit on a board, a couple boards, but the one in
Mhm.
particular that really speaks to the message tonight, Emoji Nation. And you can find all of that by searching me on Instagram. So my mission is to break chains and build wealth. So you all asking me to come here and speak towards the power of the Black dollar and the impact that it has on social change is right down my aisle. I'm like, okay, all right,
Right,
I'm
right.
here, I'm here, open the door. So yes, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I knew you wore multiple hats, but yeah, I just learned a couple new ones myself. So
Yeah, won't he do it?
right. Stay busy, but doing amazing work.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so we're gonna just jump right into it. So the this topic of using the Black dollar for social changes is something that's always been a topic of conversation. Um, can you give us a little bit of historical context of of how the Black dollar has been used to promote social change?
Absolutely. So, throughout history, the Black community has strategically used economic power to advocate for civil rights and social change. Initiatives like the Montgomery bus boycott in the 1950s and more recent movements like the buyback campaign demonstrated how conscious spending and support for Black-owned businesses have been leveraged as tools for social change. Just a little bit of information in regards to that buyback campaign. The founder and CEO of the official Black Wall Street, the largest Black-owned business discovery app. Okay, Mr. Bowman started laying groundwork for that buyback movement as early as 2014. So,
Okay.
and we saw a lot of our people standing up, especially during the pandemic, in regards to not just the buyback campaign, but just identifying who they were and how they needed to create something for themselves. A lot of people were put to the test because of that era. So, it's situations and movements such as that, where the Black community has historically used their economic power as a tool for social change.
Yeah, and I know just recently, as we all know, the state of Florida has been going through a lot of legislative changes, the things that are
Mm-hmm.
meant to suppress African American education and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And I noticed that at least one powerful organization, Black powerful organization, the Alpha Kappa Alpha fraternity, um, they decided to not to cancel their annual convention that was
Yeah.
scheduled to be down in Florida. And I thought that was a great example of us again using our Black dollars as a tool for social change, and so to make sure that we send a strong message that yeah, we aren't just going to put money into organizations or states or whatever that don't support us back. So I
That's
thought that
right.
was very strong message. Do you think that these types of things have traction and they carry on? Like, because I don't know if how widespread it is. I know there's been a lot of talk about boycotting Florida. I know the NAACP put out a statement saying like don't travel to Florida for the advisory. Um, do you get the sense that these things have real traction? Like, have there been instances where we know that yeah, this has definitely made the change that it was intended to bring through?
Um, so two things.
Mm,
Maybe for a specific group of us. I
mm,
can't speak for the entire nation of us, clearly. As we can see, a lot of people are just stuck in their ways. You know what I
mm,
mean? A lot of people enjoy the comfortability of being able to spend their money the way that they traditionally to them, right? But for the
right.
small group of us that it does impact, I think that we take heed to whatever the mission is in regards to boycotting stuff like that. Um, and I think that that's where the change is highly influenced, right? It's within a small group of people. It's almost to the point of everybody not gonna go, so
Right.
everybody can't go. But the point for those who may be watching on this channel, and sometimes when the Holy Spirit get to flowing through me, that I get to ministering and preaching. Um,
Mm,
but for those of you who may be watching and you may not be completely influenced by these type of missions, I'm going to tell you something. The point of buying black is to fund the building of black institutions that support and facilitate holistic black well-being.
mm,
So, when you operate against that, you're not for your people. You're
yeah.
not for your people. That's the best way
Yeah.
that I can say it. So I think that the people who really perpetuate that mission, I think we got it. I think we stand by it, and we definitely are moving towards change.
Yeah, well said. I definitely think it also helps if we have a black alternative, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, or at least other alternatives. Like it's so. And I'll give the example of like the NFL, right?
Hmm.
So a couple years ago when Colin Kaepernick was basically and still being blackballed out of the NFL for taking a knee during the national anthem, there was a
Hmm.
push to boycott the NFL, and I think there was some good traction there, but
Hmm.
eventually that I think part of the reason why that kind of fell off was because well there is only one NFL, right? And
Right.
so I think there are some challenges that we should acknowledge. Like yeah, when we're doing boycotts, it helps if there's you know if there's another avenue like the Montgomery bus boycott worked because yeah there wasn't an alternative, but the alternative was for us supporting each other by having ride shares and things like
Absolutely.
that. um
Absolutely. And
yeah.
to your point, that's a great point. I'm sorry. Were you finished? I'm sorry.
No, well, I was just going to add one more example for us personally. So we decided to come off of Twitter, now X, because of some of the changes that Elon Musk made when he decided to let folks, whoever be on there. And we know that whoever were pretty much, racist people who were, under the guise of free speech and things like that. And that just became just a cesspool of negativity. A lot of it was anti-Black. And so we personally make the change to come off of Twitter because there were other alternatives, right? So if people want to find us, we don't have to be on Twitter. But
That's right.
that definitely, that's one of those examples of our personal choice in our business, so,
Yeah. And and to further speak to your point, having that alternative truly does matter. It truly does. Do you remember? Do you remember back during the pandemic? And it's crazy that the pandemic was like 3 years ago now. It's crazy
right,
when you think about it, because we're still suffering, the aftermath of it here. But during
right.
the pandemic, when they were talking about shutting down the police force and
Hmm.
no policing. And I was like, okay, that's great. That's phenomenal. But what is the alternative to that? Because we still need protection in our neighborhoods, unfortunately, right?
Right,
We
right.
still need some form of reprimand. We need some form of protection. We do not have a military,
Yeah,
that we have in place. So although that's a great start, that's a great initiative, but we have to spend some more time on building that and really understanding what it would take for us to police our own people, right?
yeah. Right.
So I 100% agree to that. And then, so to echo that, eh, we have to do more than just create Black millionaires, right? Because true wealth is in the people and the land. So
Mhm.
that must be our focus anyway.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And just to piggyback on that really quickly, so there are parts of New York that where I know that the Jewish community have their own police force, like their
Mm,
own police cars, their own everything, and they police their own communities. And I definitely think that you know we obviously have a high demand for a better a police force that protects us better and
yeah,
in more just ways. And so yeah, I definitely think that's an opportunity there for us to create police forces that reflect our values and treat us fairly.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I love it. um so when it comes to creating Black business, I know we touched on this. I know that uh, over the last couple of years, Black businesses have grown, especially since the pandemic. A lot of Black entrepreneurs, people decided like we're going to leave their job and step on their own. I was actually one of them. I spent almost 20 years in the government, and around the pandemic, I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about this for a while and I'm just going to go for it. I had a lot of extra time on my hands, sitting around at home. And I used that time to develop my business plan and to start working on what was then a food truck. And now we're in the process of opening up a restaurant 3 years later, right? But that all started around the pandemic. So, what do you think? How do you think that if you were to say the state of the Black businesses over the last few years, do you think it's still trending up, and where do you see that going?
I do actually. I see it trending up, and I think that in terms of where I see it going is, I think that we're just empowering ourselves more. I think that the message and support and just camaraderie of Black businesses and agencies like the Metropolitan Business League are growing. They grew at a rapid rate, right?
Hmm.
And as I spoke towards, it's not just you just can't create an agency and say, I'm for the minority group of people, and you get up in that agency and you rarely see people who look like you.
Right.
That doesn't work. But when you have organizations, much like the Metropolitan Business League, who was created for Black people, the minority group of people, because agencies, um, member-based agencies, organizations like the Metropolitan Business League did not have a seat at the table, right?
Hmm.
So we created one, and we've been going strong for over 55 years now. So when you have support systems like that, and organizations as Umoja Nation that are created to provide a solid infrastructure dedicated to Black people, then I think that what's happening is that more people are gravitating to these organizations who mean what they say, and that produce results. And so with that happening, you're going to see, and you have seen, an influx of Black businesses. And how sometimes a lot of this was going on. A lot of this goes on as well. Sometimes Black businesses may not have the best rapport Okay. And that's unfortunate. Let's
Mhm.
talk about it. Let's talk
Yeah, let's
about
talk
it.
about it. Yeah, I'm glad you
Okay.
brought that up because we just saw that what was the name Keith Lee down in the Milk and Honey Hope fiasco. That's been back and forth now. So yeah, let's talk about that.
Keith Lee was like, let me tell you something. Here's what's happening here. He packed up his family. He was like, you know what? We're not even going to eat here. And he could have very
Mm.
well sat at the table, did all of those things. One thing I do want to say before I continue to go down the avenue was that Candy Burgess, she replied. So that reply was just so nice. It was nice. She took a
Oh,
little bit of, accountability for what happened. And
uh-huh.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah,
But professionalism, customer service, I'm so glad that that is something that, most associations and agencies really focus on creating educational workshops for, because for me, that's a pet peeve of mine. If
right.
you
Yeah.
if you don't have, good customer service, if I don't feel respected, if I don't feel the purpose and the power and the love and the professionalism through your program, product, or service, then that's gonna I don't care what color you are.
Yeah.
What color you are. So, that matters. But because of associations like the Metropolitan Business League, you are seeing Black businesses empower themselves, gain more education, to present a better platform, a better face for Black businesses as a whole.
Yeah, and make sure they have a better experience. Yeah, that is absolutely a it's very annoying for me. Like, because I'm one of those people that try to go out of my way to support Black businesses,
Yeah,
right? And I'm someone who understands the struggle of what it
yeah,
takes to open a Black business, a Black business, and the struggle of finding funding, the sacrifices, the extra layers of hurdles that you have to go through to open up a business as a Black person. And
hmm
so when I go out of my way to give you my business, my patronage, and then you don't treat me as if you value that hurts on another level for me. And I've gone
exactly.
through that as a business owner. Like I've just went through it over the last month or so, trying to hire like some technicians that I know
hmm
that had a Black business and to do some like refrigeration repair and stuff like that.
hmm
And it's like I don't know that just an extra layer of like, oh, come on, y'all, like you know
Right.
there's a lot of people out there who would die for this opportunity to be in your to have what you have and to created what you created, and here you are
Absolutely.
just kind of like just treating folks like it don't matter. Now, no, of course that's not all of us, right?
Exactly.
But when it does happen, it's like you
This is
know
what they talking about. You see
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly,
This is
exactly.
the folk talking about now. Let's get it together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
So on let's stay on this string about like some of the challenges that we face. So what are some of the challenges that we face as far as being able to get established? And what are some of those hurdles that we have to overcome?
Absolutely. So, Black entrepreneurs often face challenges related to access to capital. That's number one, and that's big,
Yes,
humongous.
Lord.
Okay. Um, Even down to networking opportunities and systemic biases. And they can overcome these hurdles through mentorship, education, community support, and strategic partnerships, of course. Policy advocacy and initiatives that address these disparities are also crucial. So, in terms of, and listen, all right. I am the small business coordinator and membership liaison for the Metropolitan Business League, and I'm also a business owner myself, right? And so when I speak to the Metropolitan Business League and all of the support that it can give, it's true. Y'all can check out the website at thembl.org, because we have a capital access program that helps that will help you, pioneered by Miss Sharon Grooms. We offer monthly, quarterly, almost daily networking opportunities and
Mm,
educational resources. But
right.
definitely, to answer your question, those are some of the challenges that Black entrepreneurs face. We don't have access to we normally don't have access to education. networking opportunities for people who look like us so we can continue the partnership. And 100%, as I mentioned, capital access. Sometimes it has gone down in books where we get turned away at financial institutions and
Mm.
not being given the same financial opportunities as other folks.
Yeah. Yeah. I can attest to that. I can't begin to explain just how expensive it is to start a restaurant. And like I'm looking back now, and like I feel like the only reason I've even gotten to where I am today was because I had access to home equity that I was able to tap into, right? And so, like a lot of people don't have that, especially if
Absolutely.
you're just starting out and you don't necessarily have a home, you're not a homeowner. Um, Banks don't just give you money without experience, and the only way you get experience is if you're able to start on your own. So it's like it's kind of a catch-22 with a lot of businesses. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and then from like the knowledge standpoint, like if depending on if a lot of Black families, I feel like, tell their kids go to school, get education, get a job, and I was one of those people, like, go to school, get an education, get a job. And so it took me into my 40s to be like, no, you know what, I don't want to like work for somebody else my entire life.
Right.
And so like I think back, like, what if I had thought about starting a business in my 20s? Like, where would I be here in my 40s if I had at least had that mindset earlier on, or I had that mentorship at an earlier age? At least somebody to plant that seed. Like, I don't necessarily have to go work for someone else. So I know one of the things that I harp on and tell our sons all the time is like, yeah, it's fine if you want to get a job, get education. You should do all of those things. If but if you do want to have the option, keep a side hustle, because you never know what
Exactly.
that side hustle might turn into. But those are the types of things that a lot of us don't have access to, because our parents had a job and went through that
And
thing.
had to.
They
And
had
had
to.
to.
Right.
And
Right.
that also, when I say breaking chains and building wealth, that is my mission, because the chains I'm speaking about are from a holistic standpoint, right? Mentally, physically, emotionally, even spiritual chains that we have to break, and we have to unlearn systems of tradition, and create our own, so we can be on this path to identify generational wealth and continue to build it, so we can leave behind a legacy for our children's children.
Yeah.
That is 100% what my mission is about, to break chains and build wealth. And because of the traditional mindset that our parents and our parents had. And we have to understand that they were in a space in life where they just needed to survive, right?
Yeah.
They just needed to just be able to break free from what they have just came from. And so
Hmm.
working, getting that education is key. I'm not going to knock it.
Oh yeah.
I attended college. I didn't get to finish college because my college shut down. But one thing that I had to do was continue my education. So in the midst of life, in the midst of my own challenges, in the midst of everything that, because life be life. Okay. So life got to life in, and all of this other
Mhm.
stuff. But one thing I had to be sure of is that I had to get an education from somewhere. So I had to self-educate until I was able to get into institutions that were, able to give me that stuff that I couldn't find on my own. So education is 100% key. But
Yeah.
the these young people today, when I was in school, when I was in college, the tuition rate was rising then. I don't know how much it is per credit today, but
Too
the
much.
disadvantage to that is sometimes when these people graduate from college, they graduate with debt.
Yeah.
And sometimes they can't even find a position, in lieu of their degree. And so, it's just horrible. And then you find yourself in that cycle again, where I gotta work to pay my school debt. I gotta
Right.
do this.
Right.
And so, we
It's
just have to
hard.
find better ways. And fortunately, I'm glad that there are parents such as yourself and your wife in the world where we've changed that narrative, and we're working harder and harder every day to give examples, and just create this the new avenue, right? So our
Right.
children and children can be able to walk down that thing and won't have to deal with a lot of traumas, or things that we had to unlearn ourselves. So yeah.
Yeah. Most definitely, most definitely. Can we talk a little bit about the stigma of not wanting to get the government involved in your business?
Hmm.
Like now, I've heard that during the pandemic, a lot of black owned businesses weren't even eligible to receive a lot of the government assistance, primarily because a lot of them weren't even like registered fully, right? They were trying
Hmm.
to keep that stuff separate, like, money under the mattress, whatever they're doing, not having official bank accounts, not registering with the IRS, not registering with their local state corporation commission, not being official. Could we talk about like when is it appropriate to go and make everything official, and what are the benefits or challenges or downsides to making everything official versus keeping your things unofficial?
Right. Of course, great question. Um, Immediately. Immediately. You should register your business with the SEC in your state. I know we may have people viewing this interview from all over the world. So wherever your SEC, State Commission Corporation, Corporation Commission is located, your local government agency, make sure that you go and register your business name. Okay, as a LLC, an incorporation, an S corp, what have you. Just make sure you register, and then you go to irs.gov, and to apply for your employer identification number, also known as the EIN. And then you want to make sure that you get your business license, because your business license is parallel to your driver's license. Now, a lot of people, this is what I teach people, a lot of people are out here in these streets driving without a driver's license. Okay. Now, you may can get fired and you may can go fast, but if you get caught, you in trouble. So
Right.
the same thing with your business. If you suffer some type of liability, or something happens to you or your business, or someone that you're serving and you don't have a business license, it can really cost you. So, back to the point where it's important to register your business, have all of these legal documents, and put yourself in place immediately, because most financial opportunities, most financial opportunities and other things that can help you scale your business require you to have some skin in the game. It
Right.
requires you to, some require you to be in business for a year, 2 years, or whatever the case may be. So the sooner, and people are afraid of taxes, but if you're not making any money, you don't have a lot of taxes.
You get that back, you're probably going to get some of that money back anyway.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so, but just to have, yourself prepared and structured properly when it is time for you to create that business plan and walk into this financial institution or take advantage of this funding opportunity, you will have your stuff in order. Like grandma used to say, you have your ducks in a row,
Right.
already, and you won't have to run and go and do it, because if you do it too late in the game, then it will show that your business was only created, established in that season,
Mm.
not when you was, parking lot pimping out your truck, So I recommend that you do it sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I tell all my friends this all the time. I got so many friends that got side hustles, and I'm like, you could actually charge like right off the mileage that you take to go pick up supplies, or
Absolutely.
like you can write off, lunch, business meals,
Yep.
or
And
this
yep.
supply, everything. And so you're
Absolutely.
really only hurting yourself by trying to keep all of this stuff secret. And like
Yeah,
you
and
said,
then not wanting to deal with the government. That's just another one of our traumas as Black people, right? Well,
it
I don't
is
want the people all in my business. I don't want,
exactly
I don't want welfare to find out about it. All of these things that keep us stuck. They
right.
keep us stuck. I can understand it. I can relate to it. I get what you're saying, right? I understand you, but I
Hmm.
don't agree, because and that's why I ask this. Other people like myself that's in a position that I am in, to support you in your business plan and your strategy. That's why we exist. Start talking to people. Start reaching out. Start finding your place. Finding your support and help and growing your business, because if you don't report it soon enough, you can get caught up. If you
Yeah.
don't, take advantage and establish your business in the right way, you won't be able to take advantage of the government opportunities when they throw them your way. Now,
Right. Right.
some people, we don't really like the government too much. Sometimes they be getting on our nerves, and I get it. But at the same time, and I'm kind of speaking ahead, right? But at the same time, it's not about fixing the system all the time. It's about getting in there, understanding what's going on so we can create a new one, right? So, but before all of that, before you're able to take advantage of these government funding opportunities, you have to make sure that you're legally structured appropriately. And in order to plan for your future, you have to have an idea of where you want to go. So if you are on welfare and you started a business, you don't really have no income right now anyway. Do not be afraid to put this into your plan and let let your caseworker know, or put it on your file that you're working for yourself, because your income can only be counted to a certain degree. Okay, now I'm not an attorney, all right, but it only can be counted to a certain degree. Until you start making them big dollars, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. But what you're doing for yourself and in your spirit, in the spirit of creating space and manifestation, what you're doing is saying, I got a plan. And this is my plan. I'm going to put it into practice. And this is where I want to see myself. I have a goal. I have a desire to be over here. And in order to get there, I have to make sure that I tread this road righteously, honestly, so I won't have any bad karma coming my way. And I'll be able to take advantage of all of the opportunities that are ahead of me because I've crossed my T's and dotted my I's.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't say it any better than that. So I'm gonna just leave that there.
Glory be to God.
No, that was so well said. I appreciate that. Okay, switching back over to the consumer for now. So as a consumer, how do I make sure that I'm consciously in how I'm spending my money, and particularly with relation to supporting my community? What are some tangible things that I can do to or look out for in order to try to support Black businesses?
Absolutely. So consumers can be more informed and conscious by researching businesses, understanding their values and ownerships, and making intentional choices to support those that align with their social change and goals. Education and awareness is always key. So, when you hear about, as a consumer, when you hear about a black business that is opening, or you do some research about that nonprofit organization such as Umoja Nation that is, created to provide a solid infrastructure dedicated to Black people. Make sure that you investigate, right? Make sure that you take the time to research and identify what their mission is, their vision is, and see if it aligns to you and what you feel passionate about. And that way you can feel safe and secure in working with these people, buying from them, participating in their services, even donating. Okay, sowing the seed into the community. But it's 100% important, to become informed and be in this conscious mindset, as it pertains to how you spend your money, who you spend your money with, all of that good stuff. Because we have these stores, we have these places, and I think I mentioned this in the beginning of the interview, but we have these stores, these Black-owned stores. But if that Black-owned store has, and I know I'm gonna get chewed out, but I'm here to speak the truth. If this Black-owned store does not have many Black-owned manufacturers, then are we really circulating the Black dollar?
Mm.
Are we really circulating the Black dollar? Of course we are, patronizing this Black-owned shop, this Black-owned store, this Black-owned mission. But what is the infrastructure compiled of within this Black organization? That matters as well, okay? So, it's important to build Black institutions, people out here, so the Black consumers can support us. Not just Black stores, but ensuring that our Black stores promote Black manufacturers, all right? And if there's a book, Umoja Means Unity. You can find it on Amazon, and there's a message in that book. It's a message to the Black capitalist. So make sure you check it out. It's on Amazon. Umoja Means Unity. But yeah, so in order, it goes hand in hand. We just can't speak to the consumer and point our finger at them if we aren't creating the solid platform for them to shop and support.
Awesome. Yeah, well, guys, if like I said, Thanksgiving's coming up, Black Friday's coming up, Christmas season is coming up. Plenty of opportunities to support a lot of Black businesses over there. We're going to put the links to some different websites where you can buy support Black businesses. You don't always have to go to Amazon, even though Amazon does have a section off where they do have a list of Black-owned businesses. But we're going to put as many resources as possible into on the description once we post the video. So check that out when you guys get a chance. So Sabi, looking forward, where do you see the future of Black businesses, and do you foresee us being able to continue to use our Black dollar in a way that promotes social change, positive change for our community?
Yep. So the future of Black entrepreneurship holds immense potential.
Can I give one caveat?
Mhm.
And before you answer, so there's been a lot of pushback against supporting Black business as far as federal dollars. Some of this trickle down from the affirmative action decision earlier this summer is starting to seep its way into some of these grants and things like that. Do you see Black businesses being threatened by all of this? And just kind of put that into the full context of your answer.
You could be. And the reason why I say that is because propaganda will get you. A lot of these things are projected into the media, projected into social media, of course, these days. And it's not to say that we aren't facing, that type of issue. However, it's like, are you going to allow that to stop you, right? Or are you going to overcome that? It's the same. It's tied into, are you going to just follow the system, or are you going to get out there and create a new one? Because there's nothing that we can do with that. I forget the young lady that was in the news. She was on social media, and she had this grant that was specifically dedicated to Black women in business. You know who I'm speaking about? I forget her name. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it.
We'll figure it out. We'll get it in the description.
But her grant was specifically geared towards Black women in business, and they took her up. They tore that lady up. They had her in court. Saying that she was trying to discriminate against other women, white women. And it was just horrible. And it's like, dang, we can't have nothing. So, things like that could really deter people, right?
Yeah.
It could just be like, you know what, forget it. I'm not even going to try. But are you going to be strong enough? Right? Are you going to rise above? I kind of have a rebel spirit. So it's like when people try to stop me or go against what I know to be my purpose, because I am the purpose pusher. It's like, God, what you want me to do today? What you want me to say? How much you want me to say of it? And to be in that spirit, you really have to want it. So I would say, the future of Black entrepreneurship holds immense potential for growth and innovation. But you have to want it. You have to fight for it, right? The Black dollar will continue to be a driving force in this evolution. It's serving as a catalyst for economic empowerment, job creation, and community development. It's not that we have to fix the system, it's that we need to create our own. And you have to be strong enough to do so, because these people don't want to see us do that. So I definitely see the future of Black entrepreneurship evolving. And we have to make it evolve. I feel like we don't have a choice but to make it evolve, because if we don't, we're just going to be in the same place that we are 20 years from now, 30 years from now.
No, I love it. I think of any successful business, Black, white, whatever. It's led by people who are problem solvers and people who are determined. And Absolutely. I think if you aren't, because there's always challenges. There's always challenges, and so you have your goal to get to point A to point B. It's not going to be a straight line. Just accept that. So it's like when the challenge comes, you gotta, okay, do I need to go over this mountain? Do I need to go around it? Do I need to dig a tunnel? I need to get to the other side of this mountain one way or the other. So like this is just another mountain to climb, and you have to make up your mind that this is what I want to do, and if that's what you want to do, you're gonna figure it out.
Yep, you got to. But see, the thing is that Black businesses and the Black community as a whole, we have to identify our why, and your why has to be bigger than you. It really does.
I
Because
love
that's where the
yeah.
fight comes from, right? I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and this may be a little bit personal. But if I'm multi-skilled, I am multi-purposed, I can do a lot. One of my other hats, I am a certified nurse, certified state board nurse of Virginia.
Okay.
Okay. Now I could be doing that, making plenty of money, going to somebody's house for
Mhm.
4 hours a day, and I can do it with my eyes closed. I can make an 8 hour shift turn into 4. I don't know. It's anointed. Don't ask me how I do it because I couldn't give you the recipe. Okay. Um, but I choose to do this because
Mhm.
my why is about more than just me and my comfortability. My why is even more than my husband and my children. It's more than that. My why is for my people. It's my people. I spend my week, and sometimes I get in trouble with this because so I also work with DSU School of Entrepreneurship, School of Business in the DSU Center for Entrepreneurship. And
Okay.
sometimes I get in trouble because my week can compile of me just talking to members. Now I get my other work done, but my week is like, hey Ziv, do you got some time to speak to, leadership about? I'm like, what is it about? I got a member call. I got to meet a member over here.
Mhm.
And it's so the conversation is guided towards purpose and
Mhm.
breaking chains. I spend a lot of time empowering members, right? Giving them strategy, offering them different research, whatever the case. And I do not know how I do it, Kofi. I don't know how I do it in this time frame here, other than God. And so, outside of that, though, like I said, I could be kicking stands, sitting somewhere with my feet up, making plenty of money. I can,
Right.
I can.
Yeah.
So you have to want it,
It
and your
can't just be
why
about the
has to
money.
be strong, and it has to be. It needs to include more than you. It
Right.
does.
It can't just be about the money. Like it.
Mm-mm.
You
Not at
can't
all.
go.
It got to be
Yeah.
about the purpose. I
Right.
wrote a book a couple of years ago. Now I forget what year it is. I think it was in 2019, 20. I don't know. Go
Yeah.
get the book. It's
What's the name of
called
the book?
Profit and Your Purpose. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Profiting your purpose, because
We're gonna
believe
have
it
to
or
link
not,
to that
even
too.
healthcare, I sit up here and I told that story, but even healthcare is a part of my purpose, right? So I built a nurse registry organization, private duty nurse, and I hire healthcare professionals and send them out to different cases. So but profiting your purpose gives you 7 steps to understanding how your challenges provided you tools to walk into the next level of your success, right? A lot of us, we get tore down by the things that we went through in life. We get tore down by our childhood trauma, our adult trauma. All of these things, chains, all of these chains that produce in our life, and they're very valid situations, very valid issues. But we have to make the decision and change our perspective to see what tools overcoming those challenges provided us with. Because believe it or not, when we identify those things and we look at it with that type of perspective, like, okay, what did I learn from this, or what can I gain from this? We believe it or not, you are gathering the tools that's going to help you propel in your success journey. That's going to help you build that wealth. So that's what that book talks about, profiting your purpose. Because if you're doing it for the money, you're doing a disservice. Come on, that's a word.
Right.
You're doing it
Absolutely.
for the money. You're doing a disservice. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. I tell you, in my little personal story too is like I mentioned, I used to work for the government for almost 20 years. At that point, I was a senior analyst.
Yeah.
But I was doing counterterrorism work, and if anybody's following this and that's going on over there in the Middle East right now, you can see how troubling that could be, regardless of what side
Yeah.
you're on, right?
Yeah.
And my values just weren't there, weren't in sync with what we were doing over there anymore.
Yeah.
And I left that well-paying job to struggle, and
Yeah.
I felt more at peace with myself in the struggle, starting my own business than I did over there, because for me it was also about freedom, and it
Yeah.
was and it was about true freedom to not be shackled, and with these golden handcuffs, as they say, making money, doing well, but also not feeling empowered, not feeling free to use your mind and use your spirit in the way that
That's
God
right.
intended. And so like that was my reason for
Yeah.
stepping out there on my own, but you have to have a reason. Like you said, you have to have a why, and I definitely identify what you just said.
That's right. That's right. And thank you. Thank you for your service and thank you for your obedience.
Oh, thank you. Thank you as well. You are an absolute pillar and beacon in this community. And I really appreciate you taking the time out to chat with me today. And before we go, is there any, if folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do it? If you want to leave like contact information, website information, anything like that, social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So number one, the Metropolitan Business League, that is here. We are here for small women and minority-owned businesses. You can get involved with the Metropolitan Business League by becoming a member, volunteering at our events, participating at our events, and actively supporting Black-owned businesses that you find in our directory, such as our host here today. Okay. And you can also visit that website at thembl.org. Okay, you can find all of the information there. Myself, I can be reached you can go to my website at zivdmorgan.com. Book a service with me if you want to learn more about the Metropolitan Business League. There is a link there for the Metropolitan Business League as well. You can hit me up in my email, which is get it together. I got a few of them. xmorgan@thembl.com. But, to just check out the grand scale of who I am, what I'm connected to, all of the organizations, wonderful organizations that I'm connected to as well. I recommend you go and check it out at zivdmorgan.com. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you again. We really appreciate your taking some time out to chat with me today. Guys, check out the website. Get in touch with Zavi as soon as you can. If you're looking to start a business, do so. And if you're just a consumer looking to spend your money this Christmas holidays, do so wisely. Do so. Right. And if there's any opportunities for you to support your community, the Black community, the folks, we definitely could use your support. And you'd be definitely would be pleasantly surprised. So thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to chatting with you guys in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and I'll see you soon.